everyone, welcome. My name's Caleb, and this is my Volkswagen Golf GTI, and this is my Fiat 124 Spider Abarth. And today, I'm going to compare if that GTI is as good as this Fiat 124 Spider. So ideally, the Fiat is the car that we all want. It's the two-door sports car. But not everyone can live with a car like this realistically. Everyone can live with a car like that, the Volkswagen GTI. So, can the GTI be as fun as the Fiat? Let's get it both out on the road and find out. So I'm going to start off this comparison video by first driving the Fiat. So the first thing that becomes aware to me is how low you are in this car. You're so low on the ground compared to everything else. And that little center of gravity contributes to such great handling. When you're driving this car, you feel like you're in complete control of the handling, the steering, and it's so precise. See, there's so much confidence under cornering in this car because the center of gravity is so low. You can just throw it into a corner and you know that you're going to come out the other end. But when I think about this car, I almost think of it more of as a cruising car. This is a car that you just get on a back road like I am right now next to a lake, and you just go through the twists and turns and you just cruise. You hit the power when you come out of a turn, you take the turn fast, and you just cruise and you have fun. I first rode in a convertible with a friend of mine back in high school, and ever since I did, I knew I wanted to get one. There's just nothing like the experience of having this open cockpit and just having the whole elements of the world exposed to you while you're driving. But this car is incredibly comfortable to ride in. I think that's another hidden strength of it. I would say this car is more comfortable to ride in on especially long road trips than my GTI, which is crazy to think considering this car sits lower than the GTI. Now this car is quick, it's a 4-cylinder turbo, but I will say I think the GTI is a little more powerful. There's a lot less turbo lag in the GTI than compared to this. If you get in the wrong gear, like a higher gear on this car, and you go to floor it, there can be a bit of a delay between actual, power delivery and putting your foot to the throttle. That's the biggest difference that stands out to me when I drive the two back to back. Now, for all of my talk about the turbo lag, I will say if you catch this car in the right gear, usually on the lower end of gears, the response is absolutely phenomenal. The turbo just kicks in immediately and you're pressed back in your seat and you're just taking off and you're zooming. It is possible to use a car like this as a daily driver. Despite, not being extremely the most practical car, it does have some trunk space that you can use. I've used this car for the last 3 years as a daily driver. I go grocery shopping in it. I do road trips in it. I drive it about 9 or 10 months out of the year, usually from November to January when there's a lot of salt on the roads and a good chance of snow. I usually don't tend to drive this car. But a good 9 or 10 months out of the year, I do drive this car every single day. Rain or shine, I'm using it on the road. If you're looking for an ideal driving experience, I don't think you can look farther than a traditional two-door sports car like this. I haven't driven too many cars in my life, but I can easily say that out of the handful that I have driven or I have experienced, this is easily one of the best. Now it's time to get the GTI out on the road and see how that compares to this. Okay, so here I am in the GTI. Let's see how it compares to the driving experience of the Fiat. So first off, I will say, I do think this car has better engine response than the Fiat does. I think that's purely just due to less turbo lag in the GTI than the Fiat. When you press the gas pedal in this car, you really get that instant throttle response, whereas sometimes in the Fiat, you can get a little bit of turbo lag, which doesn't necessarily kill the experience. But, you can kind of get a little disappointed saying, hey, my foot's to the floor right now, but nothing's necessarily happening. Like, what's going on? You never really have that happen with the GTI. Now, like I said, driving the Fiat, I think where this car lets itself down is in the terms of handling and body proportions. So don't get me wrong, this car is still small. It's a hot hatchback. It's nowhere near the size of an SUV or even a sedan. You know, you really feel that, you know, quote unquote, extra load when you go around a corner, because it just feels a little bit top heavy. Not a lot, not like I'm gonna topple over, but instead of like in the Fiat, just where it hugs the corners, when I go around a turn like this, I kind of find myself just going a little slower than I'd like to, just because I can feel the weight of the car shifting more than it would in the Fiat. And obviously, you know, that's just the design of the car. This is obviously a hatchback 4-door compared to the Fiat, which is purposely built to be a sports car. But that is something to keep in mind when comparing the two. Here's another example. As I go around this roundabout, which I just floored in the Fiat earlier, I kind of find myself, you know, I just feel the top heaviness of the car as I go around that turn. It just doesn't feel, it feels planted, but it doesn't feel as completely grounded to the pavement as I'd like it to. But that's not to say that the GTI handles poorly. It doesn't at all. It's still very quick and responsive under steering. It just isn't as confidence-inducing under quick turns as the Fiat is. But this one has the better acceleration. So where it loses points, figuratively speaking, in the comparison of handling, it makes up for it in the acceleration and engine power. The GTI, I like to, you know, liken it almost to a go-kart. It's a car that you just, you know, drive as fast as you can, hit the brakes as hard as you can, and just drive like an absolute, you have nothing to lose. And full send it on every straight, and you just drive with a big grin on your face. Like I said, it's not necessarily the most comfortable car, I think, in my opinion, for long distance road trips. I think it's primarily due to the way just the seats are designed. But around town, you know, just running errands or just on a daily commute, this car is perfect for that. You can, obviously, it's 4 doors, and it's 5 seats, so you can get, you know, 4 other people in the car with you compared to the Fiat, where you can only get 1 person at max with you. The trunk space is really good in this car. But like I say, now that I've, you know, owned a GTI, I've owned a hot hatchback, I see now why, you know, people on Top Gear or just car enthusiasts in general rave about hot hatchbacks, because they are so much fun to drive. They're a perfect combination of everyday practicality and sports car fun. So in conclusion, the GTI, a hot hatchback, can be just as much fun as a Fiat/traditional sports car. If you're looking for a car that's just for you, that you can use every day, a Fiat is or a sports car is your go-to option. But if you're looking for a car that marries everyday practicality with traditional sports car fun, the GTI or hot hatchback is your go-to option. Ideally, this is the car that we would take every day. This has very few drawbacks. This has some drawbacks in terms of driving capability, but in the real world, this is a great option to take if you can't afford an option like this. Hi everyone, I just wanted to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my YouTube videos. It truly means the world to me, and I cannot thank you enough. The last thing I'll say is all glory to God, God bless. Have a great rest of your day.